Hey everyone, Diavolo here, and welcome back to my review for chapter 221 of Tokyo Revengers. If you guys are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Revengers reviews, spoilers, and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and also be sure to leave a like on the video, as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. But anyway, enough of that, let's get into this chapter, because man, this chapter is something else, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a good way to start the day, full on. This was probably the most hectic chapter that we've had, this overshadows last week by far. I really did not expect what happens throughout this chapter to happen. So honestly, make sure you stick around towards the end of the video and hear what I have to say for what I think is going to be, kind of happening now throughout this series, because this is like a massive change of plans, pretty much, of things that I saw happening, and I didn't expect this to happen. So as we know, the chapter starts off with Mikey, and we've seen him for the first time since chapter 207 now, which is pretty crazy, and he's just saying that he's got a bad feeling about tonight, and that's kind of also hinting towards at the name of the chapter, also referring to this being a bad chapter through the name of it being the ups and downs of his fate, as a possible reference to Takemichi and the fate that he possesses, or possibly Mikey's fate in the future type thing. And from Mikey, we leave off there, and that's all we see from him this chapter, and we go over to Takemichi, who's obviously in the exact same way as he was last time with Draken, who's just pushed over the delinquent kid who shot at Takemichi. And all the delinquents end up scattering off. And this chapter is extremely short, as a lot kind of happens over a few pages. So we kind of just have to look at it quite in depth here and then go over some other things that I think are definitely going to happen throughout next week. Like Mikey's definite involvement and the possible whereabouts of Hanma and what I think he's actually up to throughout this arc. Because I think it's kind of confirmed now, as weird as it sounds, what he's doing. After the fodder from the Rokuhara Tandai runoff, Draken ends up kind of kicking it away the handgun that they use, saying they've got nerve to attack with such a dangerous weapon, which is obviously, going for that entire guns instead of knives things now, because these fodder are wanting to kind of move up throughout the gangs, and they're getting older, so they've gone from, stabbing people, I guess, more or less, to now shooting them with guns, so... And Draken reveals to Inyapei that he had heard somewhere that people were planning to attack him. This is obviously after Takemichi's asked him what he's doing here, and that they were heading over to the amusement park. So yeah, we get more of that confirmation again throughout this chapter that the Rokuhara were actually trying to kill Takemichi, as Draken says, come on, you bear that title around here. Those dudes were sure to shit their pants when they heard someone like you joined Brahmin instead, which is obviously, in reference to what's happened throughout the last few chapters, and the fact that the Rokuhara Tandai were the first ones to ask Takemichi to join. The fact that he's now with Brahmin would obviously annoy them and make all the small ones shit their pants, so yeah. Takemichi and Draken say something that I think is extremely important, saying they went as far as using a gun. And Draken says this war of the three deities might not be a plain delinquent conflict anymore. They are involved with shady businesses, and companies invest in them. They have a different look in their eyes. So obviously that's going back again to the idea that now these gangs are actually, they're making money from what they're doing there. It's slowly going into the adult world. They're not 14 anymore. They're 17, they're 16, they're 18, and in Takomi's state, he's probably 28 or something around there. So yeah, they're all adults by now, wanting to make money, and it looks like they're heading down, each gang kind of heading down their own individual path of darkness, I guess you could say. Draken says maybe Mikey saw this coming, and that's when Takemichi says to Draken, keep this between us, but just now I was able to foresee the future. And that future, I saw Senju protecting me. Obviously we know this, but he's finally telling Draken. This is something that I thought he might have told Draken throughout these last few chapters, because it'll be like that Shifuyu type of relationship, or I thought it would have been like that Shifuyu type of relationship that they were going to have together, where him and Draken would be able to tell each other everything that is going on. And Takemichi says, we've successfully changed one future, which is awesome. So they say Senju as far as we know, at this point. And Draken says, he's extremely happy and glad that, they've obviously saved Senju here. When I first read this chapter and went through here, at this point, I was so hyped in this chapter. I was like, this is a perfect chapter to come out today. Today's my birthday, for those who are wondering and stuff, if you wanted to know. And I was like, this is so hype, reading a Tokyo Revengers chapter on my birthday. It's just come out. And then, then I see this happen, Senju asks Takemichi, and she's like, we gotta go, get out of here. What if someone else gets in trouble type thing? And they go to run it off. But Takemichi turns around and notices that Draken hasn't moved at all. And Draken says to Takemichi, please tell this to Mikey. don't cause too much trouble. And Takemichi's like, what the hell are you talking about? Of course, you tell him yourself. And as he's saying this, Draken collapses, and you see him fall to the ground, and he's got 3 freaking bullet wounds on his chest. So like he's jumped in front of the bullets that were going to hit Takemichi and senju or something like that. I don't know how it's worked, because we saw it all off. It was all off screened when he got in the way, so we don't know exactly what happened. This is why I didn't think this was going to happen. You don't kill off the 3rd main character in a story like this. This is crazy. Like, I don't think Draken's actually going to live here. Like, as someone said to me on Twitter, he's already almost died, you know, once in the past before, or twice in the past, technically. I think this might actually be it for Draken, but I really hope it isn't, because I'm so confused on where this arc is going now. I really hope that this is not the end for Draken, you know. And that's where the chapter leaves us, with them turning back to see Draken lying on the ground, and him, I guess, slowly starting to bleed. Oh, why is Ken Waiku done this to Draken? Why has he done this? Oh my gosh, I'm so confused. Oh, Mikey is going to be so upset when he finds out that Draken has been like shot and murdered, and Takemichi was there as well. Oh, this is probably going to push him over the edge even more. And like, what I was thinking is, Mikey didn't exactly look like too bad at the start of the chapter compared to like what he did in 207, where he had like some kind of evil look at his eyes. At the moment, he looked like his chill, charismatic self while he was chilling with Coco. So I'm wondering like what kind of state he's in at the moment. Is he still in that protective state where he's trying to protect these guys? That'd be super interesting. I think that's a definite possibility. And when he finds out that he couldn't protect Draken, I think he's going to be extremely upset. I've got a feeling that, you know, obviously I've put out my theory before on the North and the South Rokuhara Tandai, and how I think there's 2 parts to them, and how, you know, that's quite a credible theory that seems to be going around the Tokyo Avengers community at the moment. And another thing that I kind of want to point out, we know who Toronto is, this dominant, charismatic figure who wants to like kind of change the world. He seems to be fun, I guess, in a way. Like, kind of reminds me a little bit of like, I guess, a Taiju type character, mixed with almost a bit of Kisaki in some kind of way, but we haven't seen his smarts, so I'm not too sure like on who he is yet or how smart he is exactly. That's how I see him. And I see the North Rokuhara being Hanma. It makes so much sense to me. As I was lying in bed thinking about this before I got up and recorded the review here, it would make so much sense if the North Rokuhara was Hanma, as he's always been around. Every single arc, he's always been around, and he's always popped up, done something, been somewhere, made some kind of influence, you know, like from early on in the series, you know. He's been an extremely mysterious and like charismatic character that I think everyone kind of wants to know more about, and his involvement throughout it. Is he a time leaper? Like, because, you know, he's showing up at all these moments that kind of pinnacle moments throughout the series that big things happen. So yeah, I'm wondering if he knows that these specific moments are things that if he can change them, that'll work out in his future outcome. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think Draken is dead? Be sure to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about this chapter. I can't say that this is like a 9 out of 10 by any means, or a 10 out of 10. Like, I'm sure it's a good chapter, but man, I really did not see this coming. I really do not want Draken to die. Like, it's a good chapter still, and this is throwing some really good like plot twist, I guess, into this final arc here if Draken is gonna die. But you know, I really hope that he doesn't at the moment, because that would absolutely suck. I'm sitting here, I'm wondering like, who's Takemichi now going to kind of team up with if Draken is out of the picture? Like, as sad as it seems to think that, like, moving forward with the story, how and like what is he going to do now? Like, is Shifu going to come back and help, or is Inyepei going to be the other half because of what they've done to Draken, and he wants to rescue Coco, obviously. So there's this other side to it that I'm really wondering about now. Like, Draken was the solid key to the final arc for me, and having him gone like this really just doesn't make much sense. Like, he needed to be around for Takemichi to talk to about specific things that could happen, and, you know, would get his aspect, his like tough demeanor aspect. But then again, you know, I guess that this kind of here is his tough demeanor aspect, jumping in front of, you know, bullets to save his friend, is something that, you know, Draken would do, especially when he knows that Takemichi has saved him, you know, so many times in the past, or saved his friend so many times in the past. Of course he'd want to jump in and try and save Takemichi if he can. It's just, you know, something that like I think anyone would do if they've been in that same situation that Draken has been in. But yeah, anyway, as I said, I'd love to know what you guys all think down in the comment section below. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with the latest Tokyo Avengers reviews, spoilers, and more, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to leave a like on the video. as it really helps out with the algorithm and pushes my stuff to a bunch of new amazing people. And before we end the video real quickly, I just want to thank you all for 9k subs now. We finally hit that. 1,000 subs of 10k now, which is, like my first big goal to hit, which is, like on the road to that silver plate. We're going to get there one day, so, I'm glad we're making a start, and these last 2 months have been like absolutely insane, so I can't thank you all enough for that. If you guys do want to join more with me or keep up to date with the spoilers and stuff, then be sure to check out my Discord, which I will leave a link to down in the description of the video. But for now, it's been your professional degenerate, Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.